He's so stupid. The guy's a monster. It's beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's scary. I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, he's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that
he's so stupid. A monster. It's beyond wrong. Every word, every move, it's like he's deliberately trying to shock us with the worst version of himself. You watch, and you can't help but ask, is it carelessness or is it chaos for sport? Because he's been doing it again and again, and it's frightening. Blatantly stupid. Yet he hides behind his armor of bravado, the kind of armor only a man afraid of being seen for what he truly is could wear. He's a punk, a con, a clown in a suit, a pig masquerading as a leader. Doesn't do his homework.
I'm gonna say one thing, fuck Trump. It's no longer down with Trump, it's fuck Trump.
Care about facts. Dodges responsibility. Thinks he's gaming society. Doesn't pay taxes. And somehow, people cheer him on. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster, an embarrassment to the country. And now, in front of millions, it's clear that the cracks in his carefully crafted persona are widening. Every false smile, every staged pose, every inflated claim, it all comes undone the moment someone like De Niro steps up and refuses to play by the rules. Because De Niro didn't just insult Trump, he ripped open the armor. The man attacking immigrants while being married to one, even she disappears from public view, and silence speaks louder than any speech. That absence, Melania's silence, became a louder statement than any rally or tweet.
Go at him. A bully you punch in the face. The trouble with Trump is he's not just a bully, he's a stupid bully.
He was an idiot.
He was a clown. He was a clown in New York. And New Yorkers said, you know, some would go with him, of course, people who work in what he does, some of them. But it's just, he's a classic bully. If you had a schoolyard and he walked in and he had his bully friends around, the other people decide whether they want to oppose him or they want to let him just tell him what to do and own that, the schoolyard or the basketball court or whatever it is. He's got to be stopped.
De Niro was...
It wasn't just about marital distance. It was about exposing a man whose public narrative is carefully managed yet increasingly hollow. The fury, the chaos, the widening cracks. This is the story behind the headlines, and it's terrifying for anyone who still believed in the myth. 6 words, just 6 words, and the entire polished political script shattered. De Niro turned a live stage into a courtroom and delivered his verdict without hesitation. The reaction? Pure meltdown. Trump spent days firing off posts, calling De Niro a washed-up actor, low IQ, even coining bizarre nicknames like Punchy and Maggot. Every insult, every post, every desperate attempt to reclaim dominance only proved one thing.
He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so. What I care about is the direction of this country. And what I'm very, very worried about is that it might go in the wrong direction with someone like Donald Trump.
His armor cracked. The loudest voice in the room revealed itself as fragile, thin-skinned, reactive, a man more concerned with perception than reality. This wasn't just about calling him stupid. De Niro pointed to the emptiness behind the bluster. A man who can't land a single sharp line without tripping over his own ego. A man who built a brand on being the loudest voice in every room, now exposed as fragile and reactive. His outbursts don't silence critics. They confirm that his leadership is based on fear, intimidation, and performance rather than competence or vision. Every tweet, every post, every outburst is just stage direction for...
And then they have a protest of Robert De Niro yesterday. He's a fool. He's a broken down fool. standing out there, and he got maggot. He got maggot yesterday. He got a big dose of it.
Chaos designed to distract from the cracks beneath the surface. And the playground metaphor, not accidental. De Niro painted Trump as a schoolyard bully in a suit, someone who dominates the court when others hesitate, who relies on intimidation rather than skill, who forces the rules to bend in his favor. It's not leadership, it's control through fear. And the moment someone refuses to bow, refuses to play along, that control slips. De Niro's words didn't just bruise an ego. They exposed a threat you can't ignore if you care about the rules of the game. This was never about trading punches, it was about drawing a line. The insults were the headlines, but the story underneath was a warning. Behind the bluster and bravado, De Niro saw a man willing to abandon democracy if it served his ego.
He's a sociopathic, psychopathic, malignant narcissist. He is a dangerous person. And we have to realize, a lot of people, this audience, but the people who somehow think he's going to be the answer to their prayers, whatever those are. Did you know God knows?
De Niro.
The stakes weren't personal. They were institutional, civic, and historical. A man so focused on performance and perception that the country itself becomes collateral damage. And for the audience watching live, the message was clear. Trump's meltdown was proof. The armor he hides behind is paper thin. The loud, aggressive persona, fragile. The energy meant to intimidate, hollow. And as De Niro's words cut through, the man who once claimed he could handle any critic, any opponent, any challenge, revealed himself for what he truly is, a bully, a fraud, and a danger to the system he claims to protect. Trump's reaction didn't stop at words. For days, he obsessed over De Niro's attack.
I think this might have been the first time he wrote about you. Robert De Niro, a very low IQ individual, has received he spelled two wrong, many shots to the head by real boxers in movies. I watched him last night, truly believe he may be punch drunk, and then he says, at the end, he says, wake up punchy. Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country. Now, in all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
The former president, once claiming he was too busy for petty feuds, now found time to fire off posts, call De Niro a washed-up actor, low IQ, and even invent new nicknames like Punchy and Maggot. Every tweet, every rant, every desperate attempt to regain dominance only confirmed one thing. The armor he hid behind was cracking. The man who once thrived on controlling the narrative now found himself exposed, reactive, and vulnerable. De Niro's takedown wasn't just about insults. It was about stripping away layers of illusion.
Yeah, he's so stupid. I mean, look at the lame, inane things that he said. He's so stupid, he can't even say anything clever. He's a moron.
Trump, the man who built a brand on bluster and bravado, the man who cultivated fear to mask incompetence, now appeared fragile and thin-skinned. Each desperate outburst, each attempt to redirect attention, revealed the truth behind the spectacle. This is a man whose leadership depends entirely on perception, intimidation, and performance. And the public, whether cheering or condemning, finally saw the cracks. The schoolyard bully image wasn't metaphorical, it was reality. De Niro painted Trump as someone who dominates by force of personality, a man who controls the court, only when others let him. But when someone refuses to yield, the illusion falters. Trump's ego once—
I love this city. I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. But we vowed we would not allow terrorists. I owe this city a lot. And that's why it's so weird that Donald Trump is just across the street. because he doesn't belong in my city. I don't know where he belongs, but he certainly doesn't belong here. And now he's promising to use our own military to attack U.S. citizens. That's the tyrant. That's the tyrant he's telling us he'll do. And believe me, he means it.
Untouchable now becomes the target, and the truth is undeniable. The man who claims to lead the nation acts more like a child in a playground, desperate for attention, validation, and control. The chaos isn't accidental. It's deliberate, a performance designed to intimidate and overwhelm. But De Niro refused to play along. It's not just ego, it's danger. De Niro's words highlighted something far more serious than personal weakness: the threat Trump poses to democracy. Behind the insults, behind the public spectacle, there's a man willing to bend rules, manipulate truth, and prioritize personal power over the institutions meant to protect the country. Every action, every tweet, every staged moment is part of a pattern that undermines checks and balances, threatens civic norms, and normalizes authoritarian tendencies. De Niro framed this as clearly as a courtroom argument. The man who hides behind theatrics could unravel the very system he claims to serve. And the absence of Melania? It was deafening. Not a single public appearance, no campaign support, no defense. From the First Lady.
He was calling it as himself for himself, to fool the press into inflating his net worth. A clown. He bought into his bullshit. Trump bought their votes with outrageous lies and empty promises. He got the most religious evangelicals to applaud a sinner who bragged about sexual assault, and who, just a couple of blocks from here, a jury found him liable for sexual abuse. Somehow, he even got self-styled patriots to support a man who called for terminating the Constitution, and on January 6th, rallied an angry mob to threaten democracy, leaving death and destruction in its wake.
Trump's unraveling didn't stop at public feuds. It spilled into every corner of perception. Days after De Niro's takedown, the former president lashed out on social media, calling him low IQ, washed up, and even coining cruel, nicknames like Punchy and Maggot. Each post, meant to intimidate or diminish, only revealed the deeper fracture beneath the bravado. The man who once controlled the narrative now struggled to regain it, exposing the vulnerability of a persona, built entirely on bluster, intimidation, and performative power. De Niro's critique wasn't personal, it was systemic. He framed Trump not as a flawed individual, but as a danger to democracy. The schoolyard bully image wasn't metaphor, it was a warning. Leadership, De Niro implied, is not about dominating a room or intimidating critics. True power requires accountability, integrity, and respect for the rules. Trump's dominance, based on fear and theatrics, is unstable. Let the bully face opposition, and the facade crumbles. That's exactly what De Niro did. He refused to yield, refusing to let the spectacle obscure the truth. The absence of Melania amplified the impact. Her silence was more telling than any speech, campaign appearance, or rally. In a marriage long rumored to be more PR than love, the First Lady's absence wasn't mere discretion. It was a quiet indictment. Even those closest to Trump recognized the instability and danger, reinforcing De Niro's portrait of a man whose public image masks a chaotic reality. Every unspoken word from Melania added weight to De Niro's critique. The silence spoke volumes, revealing a private acknowledgement of the cracks the public could now see. De Niro didn't just highlight personality flaws, he traced patterns of power abuse, civic disregard, and authoritarian impulses. From inflating wealth to dodging accountability, from manipulating faith to inciting mob behavior, De Niro presented a systematic indictment. The message was clear. Trump's ego-driven actions are not harmless. They endanger institutions, norms, and the very framework of democracy. And by delivering this critique on a public stage, De Niro ensured that the world could see the man behind, the mask, the real threat behind the theatrics. This wasn't about party lines or politics. It was about right versus wrong. De Niro's message was urgent. Democracy doesn't survive on spectacle or fear. It survives when citizens refuse to be silent.
Deeply, deeply insecure. He is a malignant narcissist. He's a socio-psychopath. He's created some new language as far as describing somebody in his mental condition. It's so frightening and scary, and he's dangerous. We got to get rid of him.
But he's a scary one. And in all seriousness, and we know it here, people have to get out and vote and vote and vote and vote. And shame on those Republicans that don't have the nerve, the balls to go after him. What do they tell their kids? What do they tell their grandkids later when it's written in history books what their role is and what they did, and they allowed him to do this? He's an outright criminal, and they're still buying it.